Imagine you walk into a cafe when you've never been to before. The light, the smell of coffee, the music in the background. Suddenly, it feels familiar, like you've been there before. And for a moment, you feel like you know what's gonna happen next. What is this? Déjà vu. This French term was introduced in the late 19th century, meaning already seen. For more than a century, this phenomenon has fascinated both scientists and philosophers. Research shows that this experience happens most often in young, healthy individuals, usually lasting just a second or two. So, why is that? In psychology, there are several explanations for déjà vu. Here are three of the most common ones. The first explanation is split perception. It means you see the same scene twice. The first time, you might only catch it out of the corner of your eye, or you may not be fully paying attention. But your brain does, and it quietly records that moment. Then, when you look at the same scene again, this time clearly, a landscape, a street corner, or a cafe, your brain processes the current image while also reactivating that earlier, vague impression. In a sense, the brain is trying to connect an incomplete sensory experience from before, like a continuous sequence. It fills in the gap, and it's interpreted as a memory. The second explanation is a minor brain circuit malfunction. Like a computer, the brain can occasionally glitch. Déjà vu may occur during a brief moment of misfiring. In that moment, the brain regions responsible for present awareness and memory retrieval become active at the same time. Their signals overlap, and the brain mistakenly interprets what's happening now as something that has already happened. This type of temporary circuit overlap is usually harmless, unless it occurs very frequently, which may be linked to certain neurological conditions. There's also another possibility. Sometimes the brain takes shortcuts. Normally, new experiences are first stored in short-term memory and then gradually transferred into long-term memory. But occasionally, the brain skips a step. What just happened is processed as if it were already in long-term memory. And so it feels like something from the past, even though it just occurred. The third explanation is called delayed processing. In this case, the same piece of information is transmitted to the brain through two slightly different pathways. You can think of it as a short-distance race, two signals starting almost at the same time. One arrives just a fraction of a second earlier, and then the second signal arrives. The brain processes it as if it were a repetition. That's why it feels like I've just seen this before. So, how much can we trust our mind? Because sometimes what feels like a memory may just be an illusion. And maybe what we see is what we want to see. What we hear is what we want to hear. And when everything is filtered, can we really tell the difference?